Welcome to Turning Pages with Bre. So glad that you took some of your TIME time here to spend with me on this video. I am going to be first sharing with you guys a few books that I have picked up to donate to the Free Little Library because you guys know that I have decided, oh, look at me forgetting. Welcome anybody that is new. Thank you so much for clicking on my video, and also welcome returning subscribers. I appreciate you guys so much. If you would please like, subscribe, do all the things, comment if you like on the video, I would appreciate that. And going right back to what I was saying, I am going to be sharing with you guys first the books that I will be donating to the Free Little Library. So I have a good stack of books that I'm going to be donating, and I've gotten them from different places. DollarTrees all over. I've gotten them from some thrift stores, and I don't think in this stack so far I have any that I am donating of my own, but I probably will definitely look and pull some of my own that I don't want to keep any longer and include it with this stack. So I'm gonna rapid fire kind of go through these books so that you can see what I got. And then I'm also going to have on this video my wrap up for September. So this is going to be in two parts. So right now I'm just gonna start out with that, and then I'll also do the wrap up for the books that I read, all the books that I read in September, because September is fastly coming to an end. And I am I've read a lot of books so far, and I don't think I want to start anything else new. Today is the 25th, and I don't want to start another book. I want to complete what I've got so far, get that read, and be done for this month and on to October and what I'm going to read for October. So I am going to get started right away. Again, I'm so glad you guys are enjoying these videos. I appreciate that. Okay, so I've turned the camera around so that you can see the book correctly. And so hopefully everything looks clear and okay, because normally I can, of course, flip the camera so that I can see what I'm looking like while I'm talking to you. So anyways, wanted to make this seamless, streamless as possible. Anyways, I'm gonna, like I said, go kind of rapid fire through these books that I picked, because I strictly pick these books based on the cover, or if it grabbed me, if it stood out and it grabbed me as a book that I would want to possibly read myself just by looking at it. So because in the Free Little Library, you know, you just kind of do that sometimes when you go to, you know, to look at a book that you've never heard of, and you don't want to spoil it by reading the synopsis. You kind of just judge it by what it looks like on the outside. So anyways, again, I'm going to try to go through these quickly. The first one is The Fake. It's a novel by Zoe Whitehall. This is the book. Let's see. I was going to at least try to tell you the genre. So this one, and it's a hardback. This is a hardback book. DollarTree, y'all. $1.50. It says, a scammer as alluring as she is exclusive, irrevocably upends the lives of two strangers in this gripping novel from the acclaimed author of The Best Kind of People. So that's all I'm going to read on this, but okay, there you go. And just so that we're clear, I'm donating these to the Free Library along with the bookmarks that I made, which advertise my love of books and the fact that I'm a realtor, and if I can help them in any way. So I talked about this already before, that this is what I'm doing as a way of marketing and also getting back, kind of charity and marketing in one. So I'm putting these bookmarks in the books like so when I put them in the library, in the Free Little Libraries, and the person gets a free book. And most of them are brand new books or lightly used, because I try to make sure that I take care of the books I use, and I try to pick books from the thrift store that look good. And they get a nice bookmark to go in it, and to reuse. So anywho, moving right along. Because of the holidays, I thought this was cute. It's called The Christmas Company by Alice Murray. And this is, of course, a holiday book, probably a romance. I'm not going to read the synopsis, but I've heard of this author before. I haven't read from her, but I have heard of her. The next one is The Candy House by Jennifer Egan. Okay. And this is a hardback. Yeah. And it's cute. It's pink. It's cute. And this book, let's see if I'll read just a tad about what it's about. The Candy House opens with the staggeringly brilliant Bix Button, a tech demigod on a first-name basis with the world. Bix is 40 with 4 kids, restless, desperate for a new idea, when he stumbles into a conversation group, mostly Columbia professors, one of whom is experimenting with externalizing memory. It's 2010. Within a decade, Bix's new technology, Own Your Unconscious, which allows you to access every memory you've ever had and to share your own in exchange for access to the memories of others, has seduced multitudes. But not everyone. Okay, so this is interesting. Okay. I don't know what genre that would be. Intriguing, definitely. Some type of fiction. So anyways, moving right along. This book, You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwaeke Emezi. And this is the actual hardback. I'm not going to read the synopsis. It's pretty. It's a red book. But I have this book. I have it in the paperback. And I haven't read it yet, but I've heard a lot about it. And when I seen this at the Dollar Tree, I almost got all of them because it was like 3 of them left. But I said, you know what? I'm going to leave this so that someone else can have the experience of picking this book up. Luckily, being only $1.50 in the Dollar Tree, I just thought this was so cool, because hardbacks, are expensive, more expensive than paperbacks, and to get this author is phenomenal. So always check your Dollar Tree. I mean, you'll be surprised at what you can find in there. So someone's going to be gifted this great book, because I am a paperback girly, so I'm not going to swap it out. I'm going to keep my paperback because I want to keep that, and I'm going to read it one day. But I've heard good things about this book, and I cannot wait to possibly read it soon myself. So anyways, moving right along. The next one is by Lady Hubbard. Lady Hubbard. It is called The Ring King. This is the book. And it says it is, let's see, I'm not going to read a lot of it. It says the Rib King. Lady Hubbard's literary tour de France is a bold examination of Americans' fascination with Black iconography, intricately woven and masterfully executed. The Rib King centers on the employees of the once wealthy Barclay family, whose fates are tied together by the shameless action of their employer and a shocking act of revenge. Okay. And I think I've seen this author before. I'm trying to remember. But anywho, this I didn't even realize this was a Black author. This is a Black author, if you can see that. And I'm very interested. I might keep this book, The Rib King. Yeah, I might keep this book because this is like literary fiction, historical fiction, I think, genre. So I'm gonna put this on the side because I picked it up because I liked it, and they had several copies of that. But I didn't really read it to know what it was about. So see what you find in Dollar Tree. Anywho, moving right along. The Things We Do to Our Friends by Heather Dartwith, another hardback. And it says, how much is an extraordinary life worth if others have to pay? She's an outsider desperate to belong, but the cost of entry might be her darkest secret. In this intoxicating debut of literary suspense about a cliche of dangerously ambitious students. Okay, so that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good. Okay, moving right along. All these were, like I said, $1.50, Dollar Tree. The next one is called The Lifeguards. It's by Amanda Erie Ward. This is that book. And this one, it says, in this propulsive new novel from the New York Times bestseller author of The Jet Setters, the bonds between three picture-perfect but viciously protective mothers and their close-knit sons are tested during one unforgettable summer. So like a family, you know, fiction, family fiction. So anyways, or friends, family friends fiction. So that should be good. And that is also a hardback. Okay, moving right along, we have Smells Like Tween Spirits by Lori Gilman. Okay, also another hardback. This one, it says, even with the cutthroat days of being class mom behind her, as a freshly minted mat mom of the Pioneer Middle School wrestling team, Jen Dixon cannot catch a break. Okay, so it's gonna be interesting. As you can see, she's sitting there, like the mom is sitting there with the laundry and all of that. So this should be light, but funny probably. So anyways, another hardback. And I am not a cat person. I've never had a cat, but I don't have anything against cats, but I've never had a cat, so I don't really know a lot about them. But this one looked so cute on this book. I thought, I just got to get it. And it's a Christmas story by Miss Kiersten Magana. It says How Snowball Stole Christmas. So we all know that that's going to be a very cutesy book about something romance, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so I'll read just a tad. It says, Snowball, the fluffy fur ball who found her forever home at a cozy Victorian inn, has her paws full this Christmas, bringing two stubborn hearts together. Good thing no mission is too big for this kitty Cupid. See, I said this romance. Anyways, it's cutesy, and so I just got it. Okay, and then the next one is My Policeman by Bethann Roberts. And this one says now an original movie on Prime Video. So I've never seen this on Prime Video, but it is obviously a movie that's on Prime Video, and this is what made me pick it up, and it was the only one there. So of course this is going to be some kind of steamy, looks like possibly. This is going to be something steamy, I think. It says, just to give us just a bit, it says, it is in the 1950s Brighton that Marion first catches sight of Tom. He teaches her to swim, gently guiding her through the water in the shadow of the city famous pier. And Marion is smitten, determined her love alone will be enough for them both. A few years later, Tom meets Patrick, a curator of Brighton Museum. Patrick is bestowed and opens Tom's eyes to a glamorous, sophisticated new world of art, travel, and beauty. Tom is their policeman, And in this age, it is safer for him to marry Marian and meet Patrick in secret. The two lovers must share him until one of them breaks and 3 lives are destroyed. Okay. Didn't know that what this was going to be about. Interesting. So, okay. You heard that. So that is what that's about. And somebody at these free little libraries is going to be coming up with some interesting stories here. Okay, so this is the next stack of books, and I have one more smaller stack that's down here on the floor. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But this stack was found at the thrift store that is right next to one of the Dollar Trees that I went to. And so I ran in there just to see, you know, possibly if they had anything. And they did. And so I picked up a few books. And so, and these were like little to nothing. They were like $1.50, you know, just very $2, no more than $2. Okay, so this one is a hardback, and it's so pretty because it doesn't have a dust cover. It's just the book, but it has the I love books like this. I just like it when it's like this. But anyways, this one's called Sweet September, and it's by Trisha Goyer. And I'm not sure what this book is about. I don't know. It says Hope for the Harvest. Harvest at Heather Creek Farm is an exciting time. The earth bursts with life, providing sustenance for the coming winter. However, the Slater children don't seem to be getting into the spirit. Emily is struggling with farm life. Christopher spends most of his time alone, and Sam is failing school. Charlotte is determined to not make the same mistakes that she did with her own kids. But how can she get her grandchildren back on track? Okay. So anyways, that should be good. Moving right along. Found this book, which I think is possibly fantasy. It's called Blood, Secrets, and Lies by Ingrid Creighton. Okay. And it's such a pretty book. This is a paperback, but I thought it was so pretty. And they had several copies of these here. So I don't know anything about this author, but the book was so pretty. I was just fascinated. Anyways, I think it's a fantasy. It says you won't be able to put down this nostalgic thriller. It says, I love the straight... Okay, no, wait a minute. Hold on, let me go back. Okay, it says, as the oldest of 3 girls, Renee, at a young age, knew she was born into a special family of women. These women are blessed with unique gifts from God, but others may disagree. Although Renee, Leah, and Tiffany were born in Georgia, their family roots planted in New Orleans, where the Creole cuisine fills your soul, the swamps run deep with blood, and voodoo is a religion to some. Okay, so there we go. That's going to be interesting. And moving right along, we have another book called Love and Saffron. This is by Kim Fay. And it's a short book. It's not very long, but it is a paperback. Yep, it's just a plain old paperback though. But anywho, it says on the front, a novel of friendship, food, and love. So I thought that was cute. That's what I seen. I eyed it and thought this is coming to one of my free little libraries. The next one I got is by Mary Alice Monroe. It's called The Summer's End, a Low Country Summer novel. I've heard of her. I've seen some of her books before. And so since she was familiar to me, I went ahead and picked this up. Like I said, these were just excellent buys. The next one, and of course that's a romance. The next one is called How Much I Need by Marie Force. That is the book. I strictly bought this book because I liked the way it looked. I just liked the way it looked. It looked beautiful to me, and I said, I want to get this book. I don't even know what it's about. I'm sure it's about yeah, it's sure it's about love. How much I need. Yeah, it's a love story. And then the last book I got from the thrift store was by Jill Mansell. It's called Rumor Has It. I just like these books. I am a flower, frilly little colors. I just, you know, that foil look. I love those kind of, you know, I just love them. And I have 2 other of her books in this series. I think she has like a series of these books, because all of them look like this. And so because I seen this one, and this was one I did not have, I said it's coming home with me to join the other 2 that I have not read yet, but I just like looking at them on my shelf because they're pretty. Strictly because they're pretty. I don't know what it's about, and it doesn't matter. So don't judge me. Anyhow, so those are all the books that I got so far. No, I'm sorry. Correction. Those are not all the books I got. I got a smaller stack. Wait a second. Okay. From Dollar Tree that I'm going to share with you quickly. And it is called, this next one is The Guest House. It is by Robin Morgan Bentley. This is the book. And this is a thriller. It says, keep your family safe, whatever the cost. And that's right on the front. So this is a thriller. You already know that's what that's going to be. The next one is called The Sacrifice. I think it's also a thriller, and it's by Ren Kupeka. I think that is Kupeko. It says, they were warned, they didn't listen. And like it has that scary hand on it. So this is a thriller, horror or something, but I thought the book was pretty, and this is definitely not my wheelhouse. So this definitely will be going to the little library, but somebody will love it. The next one is Here and Now and Then. It's by Mike Chen. Okay. And this one says, to save his daughter, he'll go anywhere and any when. Okay, I don't know what that means. But anyways, I'm assuming it's about maybe going back in time or something. So anyways, it's a pretty book. I thought it looked nice, and it possibly was interesting. So another one. And the next one I got is called Missing by Savannah Brown. Okay, this is another thriller. It says, every town has its secrets. Some are more dangerous than others. Thriller. I can find these good thrillers, y'all. And the next one I got is called Sugar and Spice and Can't Play Nice by Anika Sharma. I thought this was so cute. Of course, it's a love story. It says, a sweet story of finding love where you least expected it. So you can see them, I think it's an Indian, someone from India, because I see the attire, you know, of the characters, and it was just cute. I just thought that was so cute. And so $1.50. The next one is Same Time, Same Place, by David Barnett. This is that book. And then the very last one I found is a hardback, and it's a thriller. It's by Jake Tapper. It's called All the Demons Are Here. And if I am not mistaken, I think Jake Tapper is the TV news, CNN. I think he works on CNN. He's a news anchor for CNN, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's who that is, I believe. But his book, hardback, $1.50, thriller. So anyways, those are all the books that I got that I'm going to be donating, except that one, and possibly 2. These 2 I'm going to keep for now. Of course, I'm going to keep this one for now because it's added to my collection of Miss Jill Mansell. I really got to read these books. And then this one, is a new to me author, Black author, and I did not realize that's what that was, because I would have gotten two, because I got one for myself to keep and then I got one to donate. So if I see that again, I will go back. And I was in TJ Maxx the other day, and they had some books. You know, TJ Maxx has books. If you didn't know, you know now. And I picked up this author, Lucy Foley, The Midnight Feast. It's a thriller, and they had like 2 or 3 different books of hers, but I have never read anything by her, so I said I'll try it out, especially because it's my favorite color. It's green sprayed edges, and so the book was so cute, and I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, keep that. And also, just, you know, sharing, I like to color every once in a while, so I've seen this in a DollarTree and I thought it was so cute. Free Spirit Mindful Coloring has some pretty, you know, pretty pages in there, and like, you know, all that good stuff. So anyways, that's all the books, y'all. That's all the books. And oh, I do want to share with you, I'm considering putting, because I know I'm all over the place, but I got this packet of information from this author. What is her name? Jacqueline Westlake. And I don't know what I filled out. I can't even remember, but she sent me a packet of information for my book club, and that we were going to be reading her book, which I don't know if I really realized that that's what I was doing, but I am now definitely going to be reading her book. And because she sent me this packet of information, and she sent me several bookmarks and these cute recipe cards and things, I am going to gift the book to my book club, my family book club. I'm going to send them all that, and I'm going to send each one a bookmark and each one a different recipe card here, because they are just too cute. And that way everybody will have the book, and it'll be kind of like my little Christmas holiday gift to them. So just wanted to share that little bit of information with you, because I thought these were so cute. I mean, look at it. It says Juneberry Lake bootlegs, and it's an ingredients of how to make it, and it has our website on it. I mean, I just thought that was so cute. And this is the drink. I think these are all like different things. Yeah, these are cookies. This is a hot dish of food, and then this is another like juice to make. But anyways, these are cute. So I think this is it for now. I am going to come back on with the wrap up. So this video will be a little bit longer, because it is going to be the wrap up as well of all the books that I read in September. And I'll do that on a different day, and then get this all put together nice and neat, and deliver it out to you guys. All right, see you soon. All right, so this portion of the video is going to be me going through the books that I read in the month of September. So I'm gonna try to go through these pretty quickly if I can, but also talk about them a little bit, because I know that you guys would like to have a little bit of information. And because I read so many, I read like between 18, I think somewhere between 18 and 19 books. I had a lot of free time, more than normal. And so I was able to read a lot more than any other month. I think this may have been the highest month. But anyways, I, of course, as you know, listen to books on audio for the majority of the time. And so while I'm doing, you know, multiple things, I'm able to, of course, knock out, you know, a book, at least a book in a couple of days, maybe 3, depending on how long the book is. But I'm also incorporating reading more on my Kindle, and also reading on my reading physical books. So because I am also doing that, I am able to share a little bit more with you guys about the books that I'm reading physically in a little more in depth, I feel, when I read them with my eyes. I retain it a little better than just listening. So when I do both, if I'm able to listen and read the book at the same time, definitely retain it better. But anyhow, this is for entertainment. So however I get it in, it's just kind of like almost, I mean, it's whatever I get, however I get it in is what I do. So anyways, going right into it. I just actually finished this book. This is my book club book of this particular month, or we don't really go by months, but every couple months we do a new book. So anyways, The House of Eve by Miss Sadika, I hope I'm saying her name right, Sadika Johnson. And I'm looking down at my iPad so I can keep up with the books that I've completed. So anyways, The House of Eve, really, this was historical fiction, and it was awesome. It was an awesome read. I again now think that historical fiction is a favorite genre, you know, because I'm learning things that I didn't know, and also getting a little bit, because it was historical fiction, but it had a little bit of a romance in there, not a lot, but like family drama a little bit, and it was a little heated, but nothing crazy, nothing spicy, nothing like that. It was just where it needed to be. And she did it very well, eloquently, honestly. If you have not picked up The House of Eve by Miss Sadika Johnson, I certainly, this is a 5-star read to me. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm not going to even hold you guys and tell you the story, but I'll tell you that it deals with two women in different, two Black women in different segments of their life and what they had to go through. One is a younger girl that is, and this is like in the 1950s. And so one is younger. Basically, she is, starts out, I think, around 13, 14, somewhere in there. And you kind of follow her life from that age on up until adult. And then the other young lady that is her story, she is in college. So she is 18 at the point when you meet her. I think she's like 18, 19. She's already in college. She's at Howard University. And you find out all these intricate details about her life, her relationship that ends up budding into a marriage, and all the things that come with that. Of course, you know I don't like to do spoilers, so I am not going to give away any of the good plot. Let me just tell you, it was very good. I read this physically with my eyes. It took me a few weeks to get through it. I actually checked it out in the library, but I should have bought this book because I really, really enjoyed it. I ended up, because I enjoyed the book so much, I ended up buying the audio of the book to listen to at a later date, because it's one of those that I feel like I listened to the preview of the audio, and because I enjoyed it reading it myself, I want to go back and just have the audio and listen to the audio, because it's just that good. And there's not a lot of books that make me feel that way, but this one did. 5-star read for sure. Pick this up. Pick this up, read it. I don't care who you are. You are going to enjoy it. I cannot imagine that you would read this book and not take away, just not take away that you like it. And you get something from it, and you want to pick up something else from Miss Sadika. I hope I'm saying your name right, Johnson, because I definitely am. And I already actually have a book of hers that I have not read. I have heard good things about, called The Yellow Wife, and I will definitely be reading that soon. Moving right along. Okay, so I'm going to just clump these together. The Eisenberg Effect, okay? Book 1, Luca, book 2, Lyric, and book 3, Laike. Okay, this is from Miss Gray Huffington. This was my second read of hers. My first read, I'm trying to think if this, hold on one second. I'm trying to think. Okay, my first read of hers was also this month, and it was Ledge. And that is the domino effect. Found out after I read that first that that was actually like the second series, that the first series is the Eisenberg effect. So let me talk about the Eisenberg effect, since this is the first series, and then I'll come back and talk about Ledge a little bit. So Luca, Lyric, and Laike is the name of the 3 books. These are siblings, okay? You get the first story, which is Luca. And Luca story is he meets his forever love, Ever, who is a best friend of his sister, Lyric, okay? And so the story basically entails how Ever comes to Lyric to get away from a problematic issue of a relationship that she had with her children's father, okay? So she leaves where she is, you know, basically to start afresh, to get a new life, and to get away from the issues and drama of her old life with her children's father. And I won't give away anymore, but I will tell you that the story is very good. It's going to keep you on the edge of your seat. It's going to have you definitely like in it. Like, this is what I want to read for the next duration till I complete this. Because when I tell you I had to stop what I was reading to just read Luca, yeah, it made me feel that way. It had me just excited and interested and all in. I was locked in to the Eisenberg effect. So I'm going to give you nothing else from that, but I will tell you that I felt like all of these were 5-star reads from Ms. Bre Huffington. And I definitely think that if you like romance and you like some drama, but not too much, but enough, and family situations, issues, this is definitely, you know, it's not too heavy of a read. It is interesting. It does give you a good plot of what happens in their relationship to bring them together, Luca and Ever. And I'm gonna tell you how he shows up for her is just amazing, and you're just gonna love it. You're gonna root for it. I will tell you it's spicy. I always have to tell you, hey, you're not with the spice, you don't want to read this. This ain't for you. This, trust and believe, if you don't like spice, do not read these books, because you're gonna have a lot of spice, and it's no giving I'm gonna skip these pages. No, just don't even bother. Don't pick it up. This is a spicy read, but it's good. It's good. It's great. I enjoyed it, but it is a spicy read. Luca. Then Lyric is the sister. And of course, her situation is a little bit of a forbidden romance type situation because it's her 2 brothers. Okay, so my apologies. However, my phone storage was full, and so I had to figure that out. And that throws everything off, because then you have to stop what you're doing and try to figure out what's going on. And I was not in the mood. I was in the mood to tape, and it just wasn't working for me. So I had to just walk away, deal with this another day. So it's the next day, obviously. And I am now ready to finish this out and get this all taped. So my apologies. However, I stopped with Lyric, and I want to just go back into Lyric. So Lyric, book 2 in the Eisenberg effect, deals with the younger sister of the 2 brothers, okay? And I read Lyric after I read Luca. Lyric, of course, ends up in a relationship with the two brothers' best friend, Ken, who she has been pining away and in love with forever, okay, for a long time, and just kind of really not exploring those feelings because that was her brother's best friends. And so she did not want to disturb their friendship, and he didn't want to recognize that as well, because of the closeness that the brothers and him had. They almost were like brothers. And so I will not give the spoiler away and tell you the backstory. I'll just give you that much. And so again, this is a spicy read. It was a really good story. I enjoyed it. It cohesively went with book 1 and made me ready to read book 3, which is about the younger, or the second child, which is Laike, okay? Because it's Luca, Laike, and Lyric, but the books are a little out of order with their ages. And so the first book was about Luca, the oldest brother, and then the baby sister Laike is the second book, and then I'm sorry, the baby sister Lyric, and then the second child, which is the brother Laike, okay? And so Laike story is about him finding his love interest, which happens to be me and these names, y'all. I was good. I was remembering the names. Hold on one second. Let me look at my Goodreads. So maybe it'll come back to me. The name of the hold on, I'm trying to see. One second, y'all. My apologies. His love interest. Man. Do they not say it? Baisley. Okay? Baisley. So Laike and Baisley's story. And I won't, of course, give any spoilers away, but I will tell you that that went cohesively with the storyline of the Eisenberg effect. Laike is the brother that is a little more rough around the edges. He has his own thing going on. He is he's about the money. And so is Baisley. Baisley is about the money as well. And their story basically is them coming together after they have both been successful in business. They both kind of established their careers and what they want to do with their lives. And she has actually moved forward from, him. They have known each other since they were teenagers, since they were very young, and they have been in a relationship, but he wanted to explore his wild oats and do his thing. So he left her alone because he knew he wasn't ready. And so she lived her life, he lived his life, doing his thing with everybody he did it with and being the player that he is. And basically he was, being who he was. But needless to say, they end up together. Okay, we know how romances work. They end up together. So I won't say much more about that, but I will say the storyline was really good. It kept you interested, and it definitely, to me, the whole Eisenberg effect is a 5-star read, because anytime you have a book that makes you want to go on to the next one after you finished it because it was that good, to me, that's a 5-star read. So Luke, Lyric, and Laike. I finished those 3. And then I already had started out reading the first book of Bre. The first book to me for Bre Huffington was Law. Me and these books, y'all. Hold on. I'm gonna get it together. Hold on. It was the first one, Ledge, okay, in the domino effect. And that is actually the second series, but I actually end up, like I said, reading that first. So Ledge, I gave it a 4-star. It was a very good read. I enjoyed it immensely. I definitely was intrigued enough to want to go ahead and dive into the next book in that series, but found out that it was the second one. So anyways, that's called the domino effect, okay? And it deals with the brother Ledge, and I will not, I'm not going to say anymore. I'm just going to say the series in between the domino effect, this one with Ledge, and the Eisenberg effect, you will find a connection, and I will leave it at that, okay? So I love how Gray does that. There is a second book in that series. I have not read that yet, and it's because Ledge has a brother. His brother is Law, and he is a mess from what I understand. So I'm going to be reading that this coming month. But Ledge was good. It was really, really good. It dealt with an issue. I'm trying to get the young lady's name, his love interest. Hold on. Me and these names, y'all. I always forget these people's names. Oh, Ledge is a twin too. Ledge is a twin. Is Ledge and Law. They are twins. So that's one thing. The other thing is, why can't I remember her name? Because it's been a minute since I read it. That's why. Okay. Hold on, y'all. Anyways, I'm not going to keep you. What I'm going to say is that his love interest, she has a mental issue. I will say that. And he has to combat that in order to get to her, okay? She has had childhood trauma that led to this mental issue that she has. And I love the way Gray put it all together. She did a wonderful job in explaining how this childhood trauma led to, sorry about the sun, guys, how this childhood trauma led to her adult mental instability, okay? And how he comes into her life and basically meets her at her need, at her point of need. I mean, he just fills the gap. It has a lot in it. It has fake pregnancy in it. It just has a lot. It has a lot going on. So this book, I gave it a 4-star, but it probably could have almost been a 5-star for me, in my opinion, because it made me want to go ahead and read another of Gray Huffington's book and dive in and find out more information about her as an author, as far as, you know, what she reads. I mean, what she writes. So anyways, those are the Gray Huffington books that I read. So that was like 4 books right there. Then I also, moving right along. Let's see. I'm sorry. Go back up. I read a book called Priest, and this was by Miss Bre Shadae. This is my first read of hers, and this was a virtual book club that I'm a part of that I read this book with. I physically read this on my Kindle, so I read it with my eyes, but this was quite, it was interesting, okay? Priest is the older brother. He does have 2 other siblings, another brother and a sister, but he basically, this basically deals with a one-night stand between him and the love interest. What is her name? Is different too. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you if I can quickly find her name. Satisa. Yeah, Satisa. What a different name. So anyways, Priest and Satisa, this is their love story. She is running, and she has a lot going on in her family life. She just lost her mom. She has issues with her sister. She just has a lot of drama and things that she has to combat and deal with. And Priest is at a point in his life when they first meet where he is becoming who he's supposed to be in life. He is, building himself up. He's already got some things going on with the business, and it's like it's a security business he owns. And so he has made some deals to make that business even more established and making more money. And so anyways, he ends up running into or meeting Satisa during a party situation that gets out of hand, and he has to kind of come in because, like I said, he has a security business, so he has to come in and kind of handle that. So anywho, they meet, a one night stand happens, and it goes from there. And it definitely goes from there. But when I say she's running, she's running. I enjoyed the story. It was not very long. Definitely made me want to read the next one in the series, which is about their wedding. I think that's the next one in their series. And then I think they have one about his brother, which is Prince. Okay. And after that. So anyways, I definitely will be getting into reading the rest of those. I don't know that I will do it next month, but I definitely will at some point. I'm going to leave it at that. I'll just say I enjoyed the story. I think I gave it a 4-star or 3.5 to 4-star for me. And I think that if you're looking for a good romance that has some spice, it's not too heavy on spice, but it is. He does have a fetish. I'll leave that in there. It's nothing too weird, but I mean, it is a fetish that they kind of speak of throughout the storyline, which is interesting in itself. But if you don't like spice, then you may not want to handle this one. It does have some. It's not overly done, but it is some in there. And so if you are not a spice girly, don't read. Moving on to the next. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. Bre Shadae, I definitely will be reading more of her work. Anyways, I also read The Heritance by Miss Rochelle Allers. Totally different genre. This is the first book in the Innkeepers series. I have never read anything by Miss Rochelle Allers. This is a first read of mine. This was like somewhat historical fiction, I would say. I guess this is a genre. It did have just a little incy-bincy bit of spice. Not, if you don't like spice, I think that this will still be fine. You could read this in because it really isn't, it's really not nothing. So I definitely think if you don't like spice, this is a book you can pick up and enjoy. But it deals with a lot of things. I will say I like the way that this author writes, because she tackles dealing with trying to see the best way to explain this. But anyways, I like that she is speaking to an audience of an older, like myself, of an older statue, right? That she's dealing with not the younger crowd, but the women that have, and men that have been, that have lived, okay? Is the best way that I can describe this. These are people that have lived their lives. They are basically in their late 40s, early 50s. You know, like the main female character that's in this story, she is a widow. She has an adult child that has I think a grandchild and everything. She's lived her life, or she's lived, you know, a lot of her life, and she is on the second part of it. She's recently lost her job. She is an attorney, and she was recently let go along with some other people at this big corporate company, and she finds herself in a situation where she now has to figure it out, which is ironically poetic to me because I recently had some job changes as well. So being that I picked this up and it kind of spoke to me in the same direction, it was just interesting. It's kind of poetic how life it kind of does these cute little things to you. But I will tell you that me being an older person, because I am 51 if you don't know, and I will tell you that I enjoyed how she talked and tackled some things that confront me as an older young woman. Look, older young woman. And that's something that I don't find a lot in stories. It's usually people that are in their 20s and 30s, you know, more so than it is 40, 50, 60s. Okay. So it was refreshing to have an author that spoke to my generation somewhat. And so I embraced it. I enjoyed it. I liked how she was kind of real with a lot of the scenes that she put in there, just kind of kept it fresh. But, you know, it was cool. It was really cool. And so I definitely want to read the next book in the series, which is, I guess, I don't even know the name of it, but whatever it is, I definitely want to pick it up and read it. Moving right along, I also read The Surrogate Mother by Miss Freida McFadden. Miss Freida McFadden, you guys know how she writes. This is a thriller. This one did not, you know, miss as far as my what I needed for a thriller. It gave me that. I gave it a 3-star. I mean, it wasn't unbelievable or anything, but I did not figure out the ending. I can't really tell you guys about thrillers because then that gives all the details away. I'll just tell you that, of course, it tells you what it's about, the surrogate mother. So we're dealing with someone that's having problems with having, you know, getting pregnant, having a child on their own. So they're needing to involve a surrogate to make a baby happen. And of course comes the issues. And it starts off the first, you know, couple of pages, first chapter in, it's bringing you into the story. And so that's what Freida does. And she does that very well. And I enjoyed it. And I was able to read this in a few days and enjoyed it. Like I said, it's a 3-star read for me. It wasn't unbelievable, but it was engaging enough to keep me interested. I definitely think you will enjoy it. I also read this book called Opposites Attract. This is a first in this series. It's by Miss Camilla Isley. This is my first of this author's writing, but this is like a rom-com-ish type book. I gave this a 4-star because it was really interesting. It was really good. It was funny. It had me laughing at certain parts of this book. So much so that I do want to go and find book 2 of this Opposites Attract. I can't remember exactly how I ended up knowing about. I think she sent me something. That's what it was. I had an email from her. I think it was an ARC. You know, and it was an arc of this book, but it was like from the dog's perspective, because it's pets in this book. And so it was an arc of just like a bonus track, so to speak, of the dog and the dog and the cat that are in the story that from this original book, having like a bonus episode, okay, and talking. And it was so funny. She sends this to you free too if you you know, go on her webpage or whatever, and she'll send it to you. And so that made me want to read this story because I was like, this is funny. So if you are interested in any of that, please comment, let me know, and I will send you what I received from her, so that you can laugh out loud like I did, because this was funny. Opposite Attract, Camilla Isley. And I went and looked her up. She has a lot of books and they are not easy to like get on Libby or anything. So she must be, I think she's a pretty good writer, because just from reading this book, I'm interested and I want to read more. But I'm gonna have to buy some of her books. I either buy it for Kindle or buy it for Audible or wherever, because not a lot of her books are on the library app. So anyways, loved it, loved it, loved it. I also read Savvy Summers and the Sweet Potato Crimes, which is a mystery by Sandra Jackson Apoko. This was an e-arc as well that I was sent through NetGalley. And I gave this a 4-star. It was so good. It kept me so intrigued. It was funny. It had you laughing out loud. Again, I did not figure out who the villain. I did not figure out who the villain was. I did not know, but I can tell you that it's going to keep you interested throughout the story. I like the storyline. She did a great job, and I want to read more by this author. Let's see, and I'll even read to you what I put on here, because I actually put a review on here, and I said, I really enjoyed this book. It was easy to read and kept me engaged in the storyline. I didn't figure out who did it at all, and I was surprised at the end. This was the perfect cozy mystery read for the fall, and I recommend you definitely pick it up to add to your TBR. I will be looking for more books by this author to read. And that's pretty much what I just said. So I was spot on with what I said. All right, and so moving right along, I also found another author that I didn't know about. Found it because they what is it, I think I received an email from, I think, Penguin, either Kensington, I think it might have been Kensington Press or whatever they call it. Anyways, Charlie Donlea. This book is called Guess Again. Very good. I received this information in email about this book coming out because it's a brand new book. So wasn't able to get it right away. So I said, let me see if I can find anything else by him that's on Libby. And I did. I actually found The Girl Who Was Taken. So I read that first. Excellent. Really good thriller. Enjoyed it. Just had me from the first chapter. I mean, when they do it and they get you from the first chapter, that's the book. That's what you want to read. The Girl Who Was Taken, and it was in Libby, and enjoyed it. And so when I waited about a week, I guess maybe a week or so later, Guess Again came up. And I was able, because I, had it on hold, and it came up, and I was able to get it and went ahead and read that one as well. Like I said, this is his new book. Excellent book. Did not guess what the ending was. 4-star read. Definitely like Charlie Donlea mystery thrillers. It was thrilling. He is somebody to look out for if you are looking for a new author to follow that you may like. So I also read Love Bevlin's Love in the Red Zone, which is a very long series. And this is about the Connecticut Kings, which is a, fake football team or whatever. But it's a series that was done by Ms. Love Bevlin and Christina C. Jones. So she writes some of the books, and then she writes some of the books. So the first one is done by Love Bevlin. And of course, it is a romance. It is good. It was good. I enjoyed it. It wasn't the best that I have read by Ms. Love Bevlin, but it was definitely interesting, and it made me, of course, want to continue the series, in which I will, but it's not one of those that I want to read like Gray Huffington made me want to read it right now. I stopped everything and read that. This one didn't make me feel that way. It made me feel like I can read this at a later date, the second and, rest of the series. So hopefully it does get better on the next one. But this one, it was just, it was good. It was good, but it wasn't over top. I need to take one break, and I'm gonna come back and finish up. So be right back. All right, so sorry about that. I had to regroup just a bit. So the next books I read was Needful Noir book 1, and then Needful Noir book 2. This was by Miss Takira Allen, and if you have been watching my videos at all, you'll know that I have been enjoying reading Miss Takira Allen. I talked about these books already, so I'm not going to say a lot. These, of course, are romance. They are spicy romance, but they have the plot that be plotting and Takira Allen knows how to write a book. She will get you all in your feelings and all involved with these characters. Needful Noir, book 2, book 1 was wonderful. Book 2 was wonderful. Book 2, at the end, y'all, you not gonna be ready for what happens. Let me just say this. And of course, this book is spicy. So if you don't like spice, this would not be the read. But the spice is not, it's not the highlight, it's not the focus, it's not erotica, you know what I'm saying? It's spiced appropriately when it needs to be in the book for the storyline. But it is so good. I mean, man, if you have not looked at my video that goes in depth on Needful Noir, I think I did a video. If I didn't, I should have. I can't even remember. I do so many different videos at this point. I can't remember if I talked to you guys about it, but if I didn't, I should have. But Needful Noir is one of these books that if you are a romance girly, if you like reading romance, go read Needful Noir. It is good. It is good and if you can deal with spice, if you can deal with some spice, this is the book you want to read. I'm telling you, I'm not leading you wrong. Needful Noir is good. All levels. 5 stars. Okay. Moving right along, I also read Emily Henry's Book Lovers. I think this was my first read of Miss Emily Henry. I do have another book of hers that I actually got from a free little library that I plan on reading, but this one came up first, and so I read it. It is a cutesy romance, of course, so kind of rom-com-ish, so to speak. But I enjoyed the book. I thought it was all right. It did not disappoint. It gave me what I needed, which was very, not too heavy. After reading Needful Noir, those books are heavy. They can put, I guess, you into a book slump if you are the type of person that have read, heavy books and got into a book slump. Those kind of books can, because they are so all-encompassing. You are in your feels. You are like, I gotta know what happens type books. This one is light. Book Lovers by Emily Henry is light. It's funny. It has you, of course, rooting, for the FMC and the MMC. It's intriguing. This is sort of an enemies to lovers type book story, romance story, but it was cute and I enjoyed it, and so I'm gonna leave it at that. I will tell you that the 2 main characters are both their business is publishing. I think both of them are publishers, for big publishing houses, so that's their business, that's what they do, and so they come together kind of like as arch enemies, so to speak, because they work for different companies, and it's cute. It's really cute. So anyways, I enjoyed that. I think I gave it a 3 star. So it was enjoyable. It was what I needed at the time. I definitely want to read something else by her. The Amendment was the next book that I read, which is book 2 of the Arrangement series by Miss Kiersten Modglin. This is like a suspense thriller book. And there is one more in the series, Atonement, that I'm going to be reading this month. But I enjoyed The Amendment. It's a good read. It's fascinating to say about thriller, but it's intriguing. So you want to know, and that's how this made me feel. It is still dealing with the same characters from the first story, the arrangement from the first book. And so this one goes in depth into what happens after after they come out of the issue from the first book. And so I don't want to give it away, because then with thrillers, it's so easy to give away the plot, but it is a little scandalous. It's got some darkness to it. It does have a plot twist. And I just, like I said, if you like book 1, then I don't see that you would not like book 2. Okay, it carries on, and I am going to be reading book 3. So I gave it a 4-star. I also read Marry Me Twice by Monica Walters. This was actually a book dealing with 2 people that are from another country. Sierra Leone, I think, is where they're actually from originally. And so it gives a lot of nuances about their history, about all right, sorry about that, y'all. I try to make these videos informal, so they're more interesting, more like real life, like we are talking to each other in the same room, even though I'm on video. But I try to make it so that it's fun and interesting. Hopefully that's what it comes across as, because that's what I'm trying. So y'all, I am on my cell phone taping. So when my phone rings, it interrupts the tape. It interrupts the taping, because family people, they don't know that I'm taping. So I apologize up front for all the times in the past and in the future and currently that we get interrupted because of my phone ringing. But this is life. So let's just move right along. As I was stating, I read Marry Me Twice by Miss Monica Walters. I like Miss Monica Walters. I like the way she writes. It's just like real talk, the way she just basically puts it out there. And so this story, again, talks about 2 people that find each other. Haji is the guy and Shinora is the girl. And of course, it's a romance, a love story. It's not too terribly long, but basically, Shinora is down on her luck. She has, I think she lost her job. She basically loses her apartment. She's just having a rough go of it. And she's trying to find another job. And Haji, he has everything going on. He of course, he has all his stuff together. And he ends up, meeting her, seeing her, I think coming out of a store or something. And he is fascinated with her. He is attracted to her. And he tries his best to get into her world. She's trying to put it off, of course, but it ends up, of course, that she needs him. Basically, she's hungry. She needs him. She's got no money. Her family, like I said, is back in Sierra Leone. And so she's kind of, almost really, she's homeless. She becomes homeless. And so anyways, it goes through a lot of different little things, but it's a quick, cute story about their relationship budding into a marriage of need for him and convenience for her. But then they actually end up seriously falling for each other because he's already smitten with her, but she ends up falling in love with him. And so anyways, it is spicy. It's heavy on the spice. So again, preferences. If you don't like spice, don't read it. But this one is a good one. I enjoyed it. It was all right. And I gave it a 3-star. So it was, like I said, it was a comfortable, nice read. I enjoyed listening to it. I listened to this on audio. It's fine. And so I also read for the first time Miss Kim Cash Tate, which I read the book called Faithful. And I actually have this physical book, but I listened to it. I did not read it with my eyes. I listened to it on audio because I had it on Libby. It came up on my Libby because I had it on hold. And this is my first read of hers. This is Christian fiction, but it was dealing with a lot of family drama. It had the basis of, I think it was, I'm trying to remember how many sisters. It was sisters, okay? So it was dealing with the sisters and their relationships that they have between each other, and also their individual relationships that they were dealing with their the men in their life, okay? I know once, and I'm not going to go into too detail about it, but I'll just read to you what the book description, the synopsis kind of says. So it says, Sydney Sanders thought she knew God's plan for her life. She'd marry, have kids, and then snap her body back into shape by doing Taibo. But she's celebrating her 40th birthday as a maid of honor at her little sister's wedding. Okay, her little sister's wedding, and still single. Now her life is suddenly complicated by the best man. He's the opposite of what she wants in a husband, and yet he keeps defying her expectations, starting with a lavender rose symbolizing enchantment. Each rose he sends her reflects his growing love for her. Sydney's best friend, Dana, appears to have the perfect marriage until she discovers her husband's affair and her world goes into a tailspin. Okay, so this was her best friend, not even her sister. I don't know, where I read it, when I was listening to it, it get lost in translation. I thought they were all sisters, but obviously that was not the case. So anyways, I digress. That's enough. I'm not going to say anything else about it or read any more of the synopsis, but I'll tell you that I enjoyed the book. She wrote this very well. It flowed. I was able to keep up and keep interested enough so that I want to read more by Miss Kim Cash Tate, which I do have another book of hers physically, and so I will be diving into more of her work as an author. And it was nice and this was no spice because it's Christian fiction. So if you are a girly that likes romance, likes family drama, and doesn't want any spice, Kim Cash Tate, check her out. I think you may like it. Faithful. Okay. And so I'm thinking, is that all of them? I think so. I'm just going through real quick to make sure that I talked about all the books that I read. I think I did. Yeah, I think I did. So that is all of them. Of course, I have a few books that I am in the middle of, Before the Streetlights Come On and The Tenant. And I'm also reading Priest and Statiza's The Wedding, which is a short read. And that's from that book, The Priest, that Bre Shadae, that I talked to you about already. So hold on, I'm just going to look real quick to make sure that I did not leave out any, but I don't think I did. I think that's all of them, which that's a lot of books. So this month I'm going to do my best to not look, it sounds crazy, but I'm gonna do my best not to read too much because I want to be able to give you a better synopsis of what I read about and kind of feel and be in the story a little bit better than what I have been, because when you're listening so much to so many books right after each other, you tend to start to forget about the storyline. And it's okay to forget sometimes, but if I'm going to tell you guys about it, I would like to you know, be able to give you more better information about the books and the characters that I've read so that you can then get something more out of the video. You know, I don't want to give spoilers away, but I do want you to enjoy the video enough to be like, oh, okay, this book sounds like something I might like. But anyway, anywho, if you've listened to me this long, then you obviously possibly like what I'm putting down, you picking it up type of thing. So anyways, hopefully this was not too terribly long of a video. That was a lot of books to go through, and I enjoyed the month of September. It was a lot of books, and I had a good time with them. What else? That's it. That's enough, right? So anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you will, please like, subscribe, share if you would like, give me some comments if you like, and tell me, you know, anything that you would consider to be constructive criticism to make the videos better and more enjoyable. I just like talking. I'm a talker. And so I will definitely see you guys on the next one.